And this upcoming school year, my man, he breaking the news here first, man. What going back to his community, man.
Man, shout out to EC, man. We talked about it at the beginning, we end with it. So I traveled across the country, been at the dean of students at the college with a full-time professor, tapped in with the Cleveland Metropolitan School District as an admin for this upcoming school year. I will be returning back to East Cleveland as an assistant principal at Shaw High School. The biggest thing a man can do is give back to his community, and what better way than to teach our young men, young women how to progress and make it out of there, and then come back and support it later.
So you saying Pac hit me with the Omaha?
Oh,
He pump faked me?
Talk your shit.
I be like, oh, fuck this. Let's get these L's real quick.
Y'all looking at #1 podcast in the country, Big Chop. You feel me? That's what it is.
Yeah, welcome to Big Chop, man. The greatest show on this planet called Earth, man. And we just gonna jump right into it. We got a special guest today. We got a very special guest, Mr. Dr. Ralph Murphy II.
And shout out to the Big Chop, man. Thank y'all for having me, man. It's a big deal right now.
So for sure, man. I'm Moliano.
I'm African Ant.
We got Tony Film behind the lens, man. We gonna get straight to it though, man. Let's do it.
My first thing, man, I like to start at the beginning, man. Like, yo, you said, where did you grow up at again?
East Cleveland, Ohio, man. EC for the people who don't know.
And tell us about how East Cleveland is, like you know what I'm saying, the whole vibe of East Cleveland.
So, it's different perspectives. For the people who come from East Cleveland, we love it. It's home. As I tell people, East Cleveland was my HBCU. All right, it's all black, it's black brand, it's black love. But then there's parts of East Cleveland where you're not about to drive through unless you invited or you know somebody. That's just how it goes. So, can it be rough? Yeah, but can you get some love through there? Of course. And I love it. Shout out to EC.
So with all that going on, and you made it through college, published author, how did you manage to make it through all that and still maintain college and you had a 3.0 GPA?
Yeah, man. So we got to start from the beginning. So elementary school, middle school, Shaw High School, just being aware of my surroundings, having good people around me, people that love me, people that I listen to, but then also having that confidence to be able to block out the noise. So it's far from easy. It's extremely hard, but I'm just grateful that I plowed through it.
Okay, so you so what made you want to write the book? I didn't like school, you know what I mean? The books that's right here in front of us. What made you want to write a book? What was like motivation behind it?
The truth of the matter is that I really don't like school. That's just the fact. You growing up in the hood, for me or for most black boys, black men growing up, you want to be one of three things. You either want to play in the NBA or the NFL, you want to be a rapper, or you want to be a gangster. And unfortunately, those are many of the options until you get exposed to other options. So for me, I'm thinking about the next generation. How can I tap into the next generation? What can I give them that's going to be relative, but it's also going to be real? And so for a lot of people, they be like, man, how can you say you wrote a book called I Hated School until you figured it out, but you got your doctorate degree? Man, it took me 12 years after school from 18 to 30. And for a lot of people, as I tell a lot of people, I'm not going to say I did it the right way. I say I did it my way, because it's a whole lot of other easier options I probably could have took. I mean, it take you 1 year or two to 3 years to be a journeyman. You can go into cement, you can go into a plumber, you can go into different technicians and so on and so forth. And those people might come out making 40, 50, 60, 70, even $100,000 plus a year with no debt.
It's true.
Which is a fact. But me, I wanted to be where the ladies was at. The AC, you know, you in the air conditioning, All the beautiful women from across the world, all over the world, go to college. Put me where the beautiful women at. I'll be one of 3 black men from the hood that can read and write. I'll take that. And they all gonna say my name. Oh, that's Ralph. Oh, hey.
Might have been smarter than that.
Wait, put a clause in it. This is before I was married, you know.
Of course.
but you know, man, I can't make this up, man. College campus, man, some of the most beautiful women in this world. I'm kind of disappointed I ain't go nowhere like USC or Las Vegas.
I can imagine. We visited some of them. We went to Toledo. We went to Old State. We went to Bowling Green, Ronald and them. We done been to a few of them, Akron, and yeah.
Big kids.
I can imagine, like you said, USC. Oh my.
Arizona? Oh, they talking about Arizona, boy, they walk in there 10s, 20s, man. But that's the motivation. The other motivation too is I want to get my mama out the hood. So it's one or two ways. If you don't make it to the NBA, you don't make it to the NFL. If you go to college, can you go to college, get a degree or 2 or 3, and be able to create a higher quality life for your family, get your mother out the hood, and be positive? Yes. And so that was the bigger point of the book. How can I pour into somebody, give them some real game they can tap in, just in case they don't hit the 6.5. I mean the 6'5" lottery.
Right.
Your growth spurt stop. What do you do if you can't make it to the NBA, NFL? Pick up that pen. You can read, you can write, and you can do something positive.
That's what's up. I was looking on it when I was looking you up, and I was reading, and it said that you develop curriculums with objectives focused on cognitive thinking abilities and holistic problem solving skills. And I wanted to ask you, like, what were some of those curriculums, if you don't mind sharing?
So the first thing is student development. Okay, as a young black man, you in that K through 12 system, you're really not taught to think for yourself, so to speak. So what I like to do is create different pictures, different videos, and then question students, question teachers, question parents. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you think? Because if we can get out of this framework or this box where if you don't have the right answer, you got the wrong answer. But what's in between? And so that's one of the things I like to focus on is that in between. If I can get you to think for yourself, then you become one of the most dangerous people in the world. Because a person who thinks for themselves is a leader, not a follower. And so that's that part of the curriculum. And I wrote it in the book. And so it's people that see the formula as, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally,
Right.
which is numbers.
That's the math formulas.
The math formula, the parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So in my book, I say, man, I really don't like school because I don't like math. And if you don't have a good math teacher, or you don't have a good science teacher, we fall behind. So I say, man, what if I could create something where you don't necessarily need math, but you need to be able to understand how to learn. And so I replace that with positively embrace moments directly affecting success, which is pace, exposure, motivation, destiny, accountability, and strategy. And if you can learn how to think for yourself, then that's that curriculum, that's that development. And that's that's what we have the blue book for, the workbook, because after you read the orange or brown color book, now you're able to think for yourself and write down what you think in the workbook. So that's how that ties all together.
Now, let me ask you something. These strategies, are they just for children?
No, they're for everybody.
They're for everybody. So adults can apply these same. Okay.
So I actually use the strategy to teach teachers. And so that's the other part. So like right now with this COVID, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. This COVID arena has likely pushed a lot of our young people back at least 2 to 3 years behind.
Yeah.
If not further. And so when you're dealing with 2 to 3 years behind and you gotta hurry up and get them prepared for what's next, the people you gotta tap into is the teachers. Because if the teachers aren't, if a teacher think that they can teach the same way they taught 10, 12 years ago in this COVID arena, now you probably set that kid back another 3 to 4 years. So now they 18 years old, 19 years old in the real world with skill sets from 2000 instead of 2022, 2023, 2024. So that's how you be able to tap into that.
See, that was always my thing. I always looked at it like, we not really taught, especially our people in our color, black folk, we not really taught exactly what you said, how to problem solve and how to critically think. The moment you're able to correspond and comprehend, whatever age that is, 3, 4, 5, is the moment you should be able to talk how to problem solve and not just think, oh, it's supposed to happen and give up. You know what I'm saying? If you hit it on the button, man, I'm proud. I'm glad. I can't wait to get into the books myself and see, because I haven't read none of them yet. And yeah, I want to see how you put it together, man, because that's one of the things I always talk about: our ability to problem solve and critically think. They go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big issue with us, man, because we so far behind. We get that ball rolling, and it's going from there. You know, stopping us.
Yeah, we up.
We definitely. So, what about like, yo? Okay, we talked about the travel. We talked about that earlier. But before that, your upbringing, like you coming up and you seeing the things that you saw and your ability to stay focused and stay away from it.
And you had a good jump shot too.
Man, so double work, man. So the first thing is growing up, walking through the streets, riding my bike through the streets of East Cleveland. I gained a respect for everybody's neighborhood on top of my own. So I think that having friends down on Wadena and Brightwood, and having friends on Hayden and Shaw and Strathmore, and then you got the Ave, and then you got Noble Hill and Taylor and so on and so forth. Then you go over there, you got Page, etc. Coming outside from my neighborhood on Superior Hill was like, okay, I see everybody moving, people doing what they can do, so on and so forth, but how do I stand out? What do I do that's different? And I think that that's one of the things that I was able to mature with. You talk about the jump shot. Man, I go back and I look at them MVP trophies and playing basketball and football at Shaw and Kirk and Superior, etc. But now it's, like I said, I didn't get the 6'5" lottery. You know, I ain't get it. I started at 5'9". I said it was 5'8", 5'9". I didn't get it. You know, in the 2000s, that's when we started getting 6'6". Yeah, we started getting 6'7" guards. You know, Sean Lipson, I ain't make it. And coming from our area, man, East Cleveland, man, we had some dogs in athletics.
Yes, we did. Dude I was telling you about earlier, Sean.
Yeah.
He just texted, that's what I was texting and said, he here too. He next door in the studio, so I told him, see, you won't slide up here.
Oh, well, yeah, dog, yeah, man.
As soon as you seen him, the band director, you
Yeah.
You gonna remember something saying if he come here though.
I wanted to ask you about the illustration on the front cover. Like that's dope to me, man. I saw they had like the math problems and had then on the back they got the little cap and gown. How did you come up with the illustration for the cover?
Man, I wanted to tap into doing something that hasn't been done. And for a lot of first-time authors, we like to put ourselves on the cover and, you know, take a picture. I mean, I got different photo shoots that I might use later on, but for this, I said, man, I didn't want it to be about me. I wanted it to be about just the reader, the student, the parent, the teacher. So what I hate at school is like, man, at some point, everybody in this room, everybody across the world done had a problem, done had an assignment where you looking at these books and you trying to make it make sense, and you looking at it's like apples to oranges, and you just put your head down and say, well, I'm done. I ain't got it no more. I just want it to be relatable. So if I could be relatable to people outside of the title, is what I was going for. And if you once you figure it out, you may start with your head down, you hate it, but the figuring out is the graduation. And once you graduate one time, you know how to graduate every time. It's just like we're running the race. Once you cross that finish line that one time, now you got the golden key. Just keep taking off. So that's why what I wanted to put out there.
But see, my question is, what made you actually want to go all the way to PhD status? No, we ain't have nobody. Let's be real. We ain't got no scholarships. You was my roommate. We ain't had no scholarships, so so we know how much we in debt.
Man, and that debt thing is real. So I was just watching. I watch different podcasts, and I hear people always talk about the debt. They talk about the student loans and the debt you take out, et cetera, et cetera. I have been fortunate to be in a space where I understand that my earning potential will exceed my debt ratio. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is it's not so much as the debt that you get from learning, from getting an education, but it's what you do with that information. And so we come from a place where we don't have a lot of doctors. You know, I finished at 30 years old, so I'm probably one of the youngest people to do it. But what made me want to do it was exposure. So just being in the room with somebody and somebody saying, hey, my man Dr. Curtis Austin at Ohio State, I never forget, I work for Ohio State. Dr. Curtis Austin, tap in, black man from Mississippi, coming to Ohio State. He's the first black man that's supervising me. And I asked him, I said, hey man, tell me about this doctorate degree, man. Like, is it all what it's cracked up to be? Because I don't know too many black men with PhDs. So what's the gig? Good work? And he told me, and we was in Toledo, Ohio. I'll never forget it. He said, he told me, he said, hey man, a black man with a doctorate degree that knows what to do with it will never have to work or apply for another job. He said, man, before I got the job at Ohio State, I got flew to Connecticut. When I was in Mississippi State, I was writing grants and so on and so forth. I said, oh, you just writing grants? I said, that's what I do. I can read, I can write. If that's all it is, sign me up.
Right.
And so I remember sitting in this office when I quit. I said, hey man, I love working at Ohio State, but nobody gonna get this doctorate. I'm moving back to the crib. And I was in a room, and when I was interviewing for different jobs, they was like, why you leave Ohio State? I said, man, I came to get this PhD. That's why I'm here. And so as I was telling people, they saw that I was serious. So when different opportunities would come up, man, they was putting it on my desk. So I'm walking in the room, and the lady said, I'm working at Tri-C. And one of the ladies said, she said, well, before you go to Cleveland State, we got a program, because I want to be a college professor. And they say, well, how about being a college president and a college professor? I said, man, I didn't even know you could do that. Like, what you mean? Yeah, I didn't even know you could be. I ain't never know that it was a pathway to be a college president. I just always thought that they just pick random people. So you can see people like Gordon Gee. We growing up watching Ohio State. You see Gordon Gee with the bow tie on and all that stuff. And I used to wonder how he get that job. So I go into this room. I never forget it, man. I'm 26 years old.
Where was that?
I was working at Cuyahoga Community College. So as I explained to people, shout out to Dr. Roos. So my doctorate degree is in higher education to be a college president. So when I was working for Tri-C, Cuyahoga Community College, shout out to Dr. Johnson and everybody over there, all my classmates, shout out to Legacy Builders, that was the cohort. Dr. Roos, as he told it to us, come from the University of Texas at Austin. So the Longhorns, right?
Yep.
So back in the day, Dr. Roos, man, prominent older white guy from Florida, he goes to University of Texas at Austin. He finds this program. So he's writing books, traveling all over the country, getting all this money. They tell him, hey, we want some of that money you got to help fund some of these other programs. He say, no, I ain't giving them my money. So, man, he pulled one of the most gangster moves ever known. I didn't even know he could do this. He kept his office at the University of Texas at Austin, right? the Longhorns, okay? Took his program to a place called National American University, which in essence is comparable to like a Phoenix or a Capella, something like that.
Mhm.
But this is like 10 years, like we talking rank, that they ain't got nothing on this program, okay? So I'm working at Tri-C, working at Cuyahoga Community College, and they say, we gonna bring this program to y'all because we got a lot of people in higher education that's retired. So we gotta fill these positions, we gotta train people for these positions. Man, for 2 years, I signed up for this program for 2 years. Friday and Saturday, they fly in college presidents from across the country. Okay? College presidents from across the country is coming to Cleveland to teach 30 people how to be the next president at any university across the world. Okay? I'm talking about black, white, Hispanic, man. To be a fly in the room was one thing, but to be one of the people in the room was another. So I'm 26 years old, man. Hey, as I told people, I said, hey, I got presidents on my phone, okay?
Good.
Which is a real thing. But I'm humbled enough to understand, like, hey, I come from East Cleveland. To even know that this is real is another thing, because we don't get these type of opportunities. So to be in there, to get my doctorate, to finish, as I tell people, and that's the best way to tell the story, to describe it, because I just don't have a regular doctorate degree. In the professional world, I walk, I talk, I produce like a president, because that's what I was trained to do. And that right there is what keeps me motivated in this space, and the reason why I wrote this book, because you don't get too many 30-year-olds. Well, I'm almost 40 now, so I'm the OG now, but you don't get too many people who come from where we come from that produce stuff like this.
No, you don't. You definitely don't, man. I know in your book, I think you said it was like the first semester, you met a guy named Chris Colbert.
Oh, Kevin Colbert.
Kevin Colbert, yeah. You
Yeah.
said you sat down and had a conversation and lunch or whatever. And to me, on that part of the book is like when you change your mindset of school. You talk about that?
Man, Kevin Colbert, man, has been with me 18 years, man. That black man changed my life, man. My father, my biological father, was not a part of my schooling and stuff like that, okay? So I tell people, man, I'm grateful to have my father while I'm a husband and I'm a father now. When I was going through high school and college, my biological father wasn't there. Then you have my stepfather who didn't go to college, real big into the church, and him and my mother divorced when I was about 14, 15. So I'm the oldest of 4 boys in a single parent household, in the hood, in the trenches. So I don't really talk to men outside of the OGs in my hood.
Right.
Right? So I don't know you, like, I ain't never seen you fight nobody, you ain't never gave me $1, you see what I'm saying? You ain't never come to no basketball game, football game, I don't know you, okay? So my next door neighbor, they found out I'm going to the University of Toledo. And she says, hey, my nephew, he up there, he gonna be here for a cookout. So I go, I meet him, we exchange numbers. And I'm saying to myself, man, I don't know this dude, but I'm gonna take his number anyway, just in case. So, man, we at the freshman year, it's the basketball court, the gym. So all we do is hoop. So you gonna go to class and you gonna go hoop. Man, I go to the gym, I'm in there hooping all day, all night, gym closed, I leave, the cafeteria closed. Man, I'm starving, stomach touching my back, okay? I called Kevin, I said, hey man, I remember you gave me your number. I ain't got no money, I ain't got no food, but I'm starving, like I'm hurt, because I gotta ask this man I don't know for a favor. He come, first he pull up in the Escalade. So I'm like, oh, he must got that work. Okay, black man in the Escalade, I said, oh, he's in the Escalade, all right. All right, we go to be done, man. We kicking it, man. He telling me where he come from, his life, his upbringing, mirror mine. He tell me about his wife. His wife graduated from college. She got a good job. He got a good job. He a father, got 2 little girls. Okay, shout out to his daughters. They doing real good now. Both grown, doing phenomenal. Right after we eat and we at B-Dubs eating, he say, man, before I take you back to your dorm room, I want to show you something. So we riding through the gated community, which is comparable to like a Shaker, or Orange, Bedford, like all the nice houses. We riding through. He like, oh, see that house right there? Man, that's a $300,000 house. There's an engineer and a doctor that live in that house. Oh, you see that house right there? That's a builder and somebody else. Oh, that house right there, back over there, University of Toledo, head football coach, AMSUS, stay back there. So I'm tripping, I'm like, oh, that's good. So then we stop, and we get out the car, we hop out the truck, and I'm like, man, oh, this dude got me in the middle of nowhere, like, oh, what's happening? he said, hey, why don't you get out real quick? Man, we get out, and we walking through the plot. I'll never forget walking through the plot, man, it's dark. We walking through the plot, and we walking through the house, and it's just wood, okay? It's just dirt and wood, right? He said, hey, man, right here, this is where me and my wife living room is gonna be. This is an 18-foot ceiling, okay? This right here, this the master bedroom, this is the jacuzzi, then upstairs.
This just the land, y'all just on the
We
plot.
just on the plot.
He already got the vision of the house.
He telling me what it is, okay? That moment right there changed my life forever, because that was the first time I had met a successful black man married to a successful black woman, and they had done it, quote unquote, the right way. And I've been rocking with him ever since. We talk at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Everything from fatherhood to pathways to marriage to being the man today, all of that stuff. And man, I was like, man, you with me for life now. And man, that part of that book is probably one of my most favorite parts, because
Yeah, my favorite part too.
man, I tell you, that moment right there changed my life forever, because that made education real. It wasn't just a hustle. It was like, oh, we can do this. And then 18 years later, man, me and my wife, ironically, I married my wife. She in nursing. I'm in education. I got 2 beautiful daughters. We live in a nice house, comfortable, and I'm grateful. It's like one of them things, like he come by the house and put his feet up on the couch, and we gotta say, hey man, you want something? Because we here because of him.
Right.
And so yeah, man, Kevin Colbert, man, shout out to him for life, man. That's my guy.
What did you say at your wedding video? You said we didn't want to be famous. We just wanted to be comfortable.
We just want to be comfortable, man.
So touch light on some of the places you worked in, like Washington, right?
Oregon, man. So the story of how I even got to Oregon was crazy, because of all the places, man, I go from East Cleveland to Oregon.
Yeah.
Man, you could have fooled me. Truth be told, it was between Oregon and Iowa State. All I knew was I was finishing my doctorate degree, and I started looking around. People weren't retiring. So I'm like, man, I ain't about to finish this doctorate degree and still be in the same role. So let me tap in and see how far this thing really go. And shout out to Dr. Spielvogel, man. She told me, I said, Dr. Spielvogel, I said, when I finish, I'm working at
Where's she from? Oh, she from
yeah. So at Cuyahoga Community College, about 30 of us. And at the time, she was a vice president, and she had just accepted a president job.
Okay.
So she on her way to go be a president. So I asked her, I say, you think that this doctorate is worth it? Because I'm getting to the end and I'm looking around and I'm like, man, I hope I ain't wasting my time.
Right.
And she was like, you? She said, Ralph, I have not a doubt in my mind that once people hear you talk, if they put you in the room, it's over. Because you know what you're doing, you know what you're talking about. So I took that again. I talk about the destiny part in the book.
Mhm.
Okay? For me, the destiny is the people. So when you get in a room with certain people and being able to feed off and pay attention to what they tell you, you take advantage of it. Man, I'm applying. First I apply to Phoenix, just on GP. I get the interview. All right, cool. Then I apply to a place in Illinois. Illinois fly me out. So all right, now we moving. Then I'm like, well, let me see how far I can go. So then I apply to the job in Oregon and in Iowa. Man, I get to Oregon, and I'm like, man, ain't no way they gonna offer me the job. Hey, I'm talking Native American land, I'm talking farmers, I'm talking cow cougars, all that stuff in where I'm at, right? When they offer me the job. And I take it, I took off.
Yeah, man, so I got two more questions I wanted to ask you, and it's like, how do you feel like, do you think that you applied all the knowledge and stuff that you learned or gained over the years? Do you feel like you applied all of it yet? Or if you did, if you hadn't, do you think it's a lot more to go?
Yeah, so I would say, man, word to Nipsey Hussle, man, is really a marathon. And so like, with the way education work and the way experience work, the doctorate degree just helped me recognize what's happening around me, how to apply it, how to do the research and things of that nature. But the big deal is no, I'll never apply it all, because everything constantly grows, it constantly evolves. You got to deal with current events and what's happening around the world. And so to be open and responsive is how I've been able to actually stay relevant in this education space. So no, I'll never apply at all. Do I have further to go? Yeah, man. Yeah. Shout out to Dr. Thomas, man. So my dissertation committee member, man, Dr. Thomas, black man from East Austin, Texas. So I say, man, I'm from EC. He said, I'm from East Austin.
East side of Radical, okay?
But he told me, man, he said, Ralph, he said, man, the positive thing is once you finish, you have the ability to be Dr. Murphy longer than you've been alive. And with that comes the responsibility that you're gonna always grow, you're gonna always learn, and you're gonna always change.
Okay.
So they keep me motivated to this day.
And earlier off camera, we was talking about the psychology, sociologists and stuff. And I was telling you, like, I would want to go back at some point and try to get that degree, get that under my belt. And you were saying, like, what exactly was your preference?
My preference, whenever it comes to like sociology, psychology, counseling, therapy, anything that has to deal with development of the mind and helping change people, you want to go where the license is. And so I would encourage you to do counseling, because counseling and social work comes with a license. And in this field, we have a lot of people that are doing the mentoring and they're saying things, as you said, out of whack. So what happens is once you get the license, you're able to be on that same playing field with other people, but then you also qualify to stretch the margin.
Okay.
And so with that license, that's what helps you. And I encourage anybody across the world that's listening to this, if you want to impact people, go the pathway where the license is the end goal.
So the sociologist?
Sociology, psychology, all of that type of thinking is going to be pathway into the license. But if it doesn't come with that credential, with that licensure, then a lot of that stuff is just theory. The license puts you in a position to practice. And without that practice, it's just gonna be a whole lot of big words, whole lot of jargon, and a whole lot of people making themselves seem smarter than what they are.
Right.
And so, yeah, get the license.
And I said that, the main reason why I said that, and I call myself a self-proclaimed psychologist, sociologist, for the simple fact I was on that 12 year vacation, you know what I'm saying? I had a little stretch, you hear me? And yeah, I dealt with a lot of different mentalities, man, and I figured out how to navigate through that, all that, while, you know, was able to keep my sanity, because I had to not only think for myself, but for thousands of other people for 12 years straight, you know what I'm saying? And that was not easy, man, it was not easy, so I've seen so many problems, emotions, so many different tempers and mindsets, and I developed the sense to be able to read, not a book, not no words, like I was able to read, understand the human behavioral pattern like that, man. So I was like, dang, I was solving people's problems for them. I'm like, damn, I'm sounding like a psychologist. Because I was a sociologist, I was telling myself, I'm helping people that's hungry, you know, all type of stuff, you know, so that's why I said that for real.
Oh yeah, that's dope. But I also, man, I'd be remiss if I didn't commend you for that growth. And I was telling you about that isolation. So that isolation puts you in a position to grow, puts you in a position to learn, and then it opened up your senses. And so that observation, man, is key. But observation without practical application or direction. So being able to assess a problem and then direct the problem is two different things. And so that's why, man, again, strongly commend you, encourage you if you stay on that pathway, because you got a gift. And a lot of that, what you're talking about is emotional intelligence and then emotional quotient. So that's the EI versus EQ. Once you tap into that, that's what you already was doing. But now you get the chance to do it at a higher level. And that higher level gonna come with the vocabulary, the pathways, and then that wraparound service that comes with the license. So man, tap in. You got something. You got something. Everybody can't do that. And then first, and everybody can't do it. One, but the other thing too is that when you're in a position where people listen to you, and then what you tell them to do work, they kept coming back.
What's up?
And then they told other people.
I had an old people guy, he was heavy into astrology, and he told me, he gave me a test I didn't even know. I'm gonna wrap this up because I know we want to talk about some other things, but I came back and did something that he didn't tell me to do, and I thought I was wrong. I wasn't wrong. He didn't know that I could do that. He didn't know I was ready for it, but the assignment he gave me, I took it like a step further, and he told me right then and there, like, man, you Pisces. He said, you got ability, I gotta bring it out of you, man. He said, you got this ability, man. So I keep that in my head, and I'll be trying to work, you know what I'm saying?
When your birthday?
February 23rd.
Mine the 20th. When Pisces too. That's how that works.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
So y'all really telling me
Yeah.
I really believe in astrology,
Yeah,
man.
it's not so much as
I
astrology.
also because of the psychics, the ones that we be seeing, that's some of them they give it a bad look. But when you start researching stuff yourself, man, that stuff is serious, man. Like this stuff ain't here for no reason. The planets and all that, that's another episode and all that. The stars, planets, the way
It's energy.
all that
stuff
that's
is
not.
real.
It's not. You only moving because of energy. So that's another thing. But I know you want to get into some stuff. There's some current events going on and all types of stuff.
I have one more question about his whole book and his journey. I saw it in the book. When you first talked to that dude, Kevin or whatever, and the first thing you did was prioritize your life. You made a little schedule in the calendar. I wanted to specifically for the kids about the importance of time management and make sure you schedule your time in the right place. You know what I mean?
Man, that calendar stuff is real, like that time management. And that goes back to an interview I watched with T.I. years ago, man. Shout out to T.I., this is something I never forget. He said he was talking to an older guy when he was sitting down, and the guy told him, he said, man, you can't hold on to the grass and reach for the stars at the same time. You gotta let something go. And so that stuck with me. And so as I'm thinking about my schedule, man, in college, to make this thing work, man, you gotta be able to do some self-imposed isolation, and you gotta be able to let some stuff go. So if you can't manage letting stuff go, it's not gonna work for you. And that's a life choice that you get later on. Because if you can't prioritize stuff, you get to ripping and running, you lose money, you put yourself in a bad circle, you don't make the right friends, man, they go downhill from there.
You know, I always said I wanted to learn I wanted to get better at being able to compartmentalize my days. And it's the same thing, exactly the same thing, man. Have a slot, every slot is taken up, man, and it's something that's purposeful, meaningful, you know what I'm saying? And I'm still building and working on it, you know. And I can't wait to see it all come together, because I know it's gonna be beautiful.
Oh, good time.
One more question I have. I know you said in the book also that you went back home and then you was so excited about school, you was having conversations with people and it was like, well, you ain't gonna do this, you ain't gonna do that. How did you block that out? Like, 'cause I know you back and forth from being around certain people, you know, they had that type of energy.
Well, I mean, they go to family, they go to friends, that's the neighborhood, and you gotta, my second path, my second step in the formula is exposure. And so it's a difference between being exposed to on IG and seeing it for yourself. And so for me, and I had to learn this the hard way, is that you can't give people the exposure that you got for them. Like if they weren't there, it's gonna be hard for them to see it, no matter how bad I try to do it.
Yeah.
Man, it didn't work. And so after a while, again, self-isolation, compartmentalizing. Some people you don't cut off because you love them. You just love them from a distance. And then you learn to say, hey man, I'm not gonna talk to this person about this. I got a whole group over here. And so over here, we're gonna talk about basketball, we're gonna talk about the ladies, we're gonna talk about clubbing. Over here, we're gonna talk about real estate, we're gonna talk about podcasts, we're gonna talk about traveling. So, and that's how that works. And then as a young person, as you get older, you learn that's really how people keep their sanity and progress. Because everybody can't do the same thing.
Right. Man, that's a fact. I want to commend you because you figured this out so young, man. Like, I'm 39 and I just figured out how to get the most out of my day is time management. I figured that out at like 34. And you figured it out young, man. So I want to commend you for that, man. That's dope to me.
You said something about you can't put something that you do on the next person. What you say? You can't make somebody see.
You can't see two people. No two people will ever see the same thing.
This was bullshit. This was bullshit about to come here. That I said that you to go ahead and segue into this. So if a person says they got $300 million and you not them, you ain't there to see if they got it or not. Can you tell them that they don't got it? Like, how can you tell this person they don't got that?
You can't.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I figured that too. You know what I'm saying? Just being a human, I kind of figured you couldn't just say somebody ain't got it. Like, if Floyd got $300 million,
He said that because, right? All right, Floyd said he got that. I ain't saying he ain't got money, but what I'm saying is, obviously he ain't do right by his money because he's still out here taking them punches to the head of potentially in his life. He's supposed to have all this money.
Now watch this.
I don't think he's doing it. He's doing it for fun. He can do it with some headgear on.
I told him this. I said, as soon as he said he's fighting for a reason, and he's monetary, saying money. We both understand it's for money.
Right.
But you saying he ain't doing the right thing with his money. Me, I'm just saying it's millions of dollars, and that's what he do. Then nobody tell Bill Gates to stop, and nobody tell Warren Buffett to stop, and nobody tell.
They ain't
So
getting
that's what.
punched in
So
the head,
then he say they ain't risking their life. He not risking his life either. Look at what he doing. He's not risking his life. To you, it may be a risk.
Your mother ever told you that saying you keep playing the fire, you're gonna get burnt. That's what's gonna happen.
He don't get touched when he go out there. So
Man, Floyd, and so this other thing too with Floyd, man. Floyd make a lot of money. He play hard, but also the other thing too. I watched Floyd in the interview on the Pivot, and he was saying, he was like, man, I got Jewish friends over here. I'm with this, I'm in this different groups. And the one thing I can relate with Floyd from being able to hear different people, everybody don't tell you everything that they doing.
Right.
So he might, on one side, it might look like he going bankrupt and he just being frivolous, but on the back end, he say he got a couple builders here and he probably small business. So to each his own. But I like Floyd. I think Floyd's still above him.
and the friends he got, whatever type of relationship he got with him, he says out his mouth. And this is usually how it works too. When you inside of a certain group, I'm never gonna fall off because of the people I know. I'm never gonna be broke, fucked up into that, like in a bad position. I'm always gonna be straight. he said my grandkids
Right.
already multimillionaires because of situations I've played, I've put down. Like, I believe him until it's proven otherwise. Until I see that he flat out is a bum and he ain't no money.
So I got a question. So how much money is enough money? If he say he up 300 million, out of that 300 million, how much of that is enough?
It
Do
depends.
you have to reach $1 billion to be good? Like is $1 billion really the goal?
The goal is to make your money work for you, not work for it. Once you get a certain amount of money, you shouldn't be working for the
But
money.
how
Guess
much?
what?
But how much money do you want? How much money do you need? How much is enough to say, all right, I'm good? Is it 20 million? Is it 5? Is it 50? Is it 100? Like, is that number keep going up?
And sometimes I think it's not
I get what you're saying.
never enough money because there's so much money that's circulating through the world, cajillions of dollars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To the point where you realize that it ain't necessarily specifically about I need to get this amount of money. Once you get a certain amount of money, you're gonna be at a comfortable position. But now it's still like, okay, this is a craft, and I still get to get paid for it. This is a craft that I'm well known at. I'm good at. You know what I'm saying? And the bonuses I'm getting paid for. Like that's just the bonus I'm
That's
getting
just a
paid for.
dangerous crowd to be playing around with at an older age.
See, that's a perspective. That you
It is a
said
perspective, but I'm just saying.
What's dangerous?
He said that though.
What's
He said
dangerous?
that. I know you probably seen this. He said, I don't want to end up like my Uncle Roger. I don't want to end up like Ali. That's why I'm retiring early, because I want to be able to talk to my kids. He's stressed down when they ask him why he retiring. He's still in this, you know what I'm saying? He's still in this prime. He said, I had made enough money. I don't want to end up like my Uncle Roger. I don't want to end up like Ali. That's why I'm leaving this sport early. But yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe he missed it. Do he love it? Do he love it?
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Maybe it's not
Because
about
he's
the money
saying
at this
you
point.
work for him, you make money work for you, right? He
Right.
is
But-
making money work for him.
but when you-
What are you talking about? And not only that, I was just watching Instagram, right? And guess who popped up on Instagram? Mark Zuckerberg. I follow Zuckerberg. My nigga Zuckerberg. Shout out to Zuckerberg. You feel me? I nigga. And I see him advertising something.
The guy.
The guy. He up there breaking shit down. He working, physically working. He ain't got a white boy on there promoting this. It's him telling you what's going on. He putting in that work, man. They work. Warren Buffett. I just watched Wall Street Trapper talk about Warren Buffett read 900 pages like a day, some crazy shit. He said, why if that man stopped, if he at 90 can read 900 pages, who am I to think I shouldn't be doing that? I'm about to go put work in. And that's what the bottom line. If Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk can still walk around factories and do this, that, and the third, they were working. They're not just sitting back not doing nothing. You think these dudes ain't doing nothing? They were working. Just because they're not boxing like Floyd, they're still working.
I think if
That's
it was
what they
a
do.
sport,
That's what they
just
do.
it.
They're
Like,
not
I'm
boxers.
pretty sure when boxers retire, they still spar with heads
This-
here. They
this
just take
nobody
it. But they not getting paid for that. They doing it because they love it. But once you step in on
You
that
get
mat to
paid.
get paid, you know what I'm
Getting
saying?
paid.
I don't know. I ain't saying he broke, but I'm just saying he knows
No,
it's
you
been
trying to say
to make
you
some
broke,
money.
man. You softened it up. We gonna,
I
that's
told
gonna be a
you
topic
that
every
before.
episode, man. That's gonna be a topic every episode. That topic and the Jay-Z topic gonna be a
Cause
topic.
I love
every
boxing. I
episode,
really
man.
I really love boxing.
Yeah.
Mayweather is the GOAT. And I don't want to see when I'm like in my 40s, my 50s, and see him talking. He can barely understand what he's saying because I like the way he
He
talks.
too
I like how
smart for that, man.
I hope so. I hope so. But if you keep playing with fire, you're gonna get burned.
Look,
He been boxing since he was 6 years
Them
old.
dudes was already like that at 45. He 45. They was already fucked up. He
Floyd is up though, health wise,
He's cool.
He take care of
body
himself.
wise.
He's smart, man.
He's smart.
He is smart,
He
man.
don't
He's
drink.
smart.
He don't smoke. He worked out, kept his body together. I personally think that when he tap into boxing still, he just lets that. It's muscle memory. It's muscle memory.
Man, he not
Tap
going
in.
out there slugging with nobody, just putting his
He
face
talking
on the
about
front
fighting
line.
Pacquiao again. He trying to really make a return.
Listen, Pacquiao safe to say he was like one of the best with the hands, right?
Yeah.
Safe to say that, right? Sean?
Pacquiao.
Was one of the best with the hands. Like, arguably, like, had the best hands, you know what I'm saying? And he couldn't even put a dent in it.
I'm not saying like he's not.
So you saying he about to fight
bad,
Pacquiao, like he just about to go go out there.
There's no other fighter that's better than him when it comes to boxing. Like I love Ali, but ain't no other fighter better than Floyd when it comes to boxing because the way he think, he's smart, and as far as the ring, he can pick up real quick on what you're doing. Like he steady, like
He embodied Ali.
Yeah.
For real. He embodied Ali without the.
I just don't want to see him like how we saw Ali. You know, I don't want to see that, man. That hurt me because I like boxing. I love to see Floyd
You know what I
talk.
wanna see?
I like to see him teaching the young kids.
I love to
You know what I'm
see his he motivation, man.
Yeah.
He represents motivation, man.
He
To one of the
definitely
highest degrees, man. He represents that, man. Like you open that book up, his name should be right there with the dictionary. Motivation should be
Definitely,
right there like that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and my take on that when it comes down to Floyd is all these fighters you can name. You can name Ali, you can name Tyson, you can name whoever, Marvin, and you can name Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns. None of them control their own destiny like Floyd.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He taught you how to be in control of your job. He's a boss.
Out the mud.
That's true.
Man.
What's up with some of them, like Curry and Vince? You was talking about something about was it the abortion?
Yeah, it was
Roe versus Wade.
That was him.
That
Yeah.
was you, Roe versus Wade.
What's your take on that?
Man, the Roe versus Wade is heavy, man. Like I said, as a father with 2 girls, a wife in healthcare, you can't tell a woman what to do with her body. I get the killing part, you know, they say you're killing babies or something with the abortion. But I just read something the other day where they say, well, what happens if a baby is stillborn or the baby doesn't make the whole 9 weeks or something happens to them and now they're putting that woman's body in jeopardy. So what do you do? What do you do? Okay, do you leave a rotten, a deceased baby in a woman's body because of the abortion thing, or do they go, or do they make an exception? It's gonna be heavy.
They testing the people with that one. They testing the nation of people to see the reaction. And I feel like when they come back to the room, they be like, how it go? And they be like, shit, there wasn't really no action. A couple people over in LA protested, but you know, everybody, and they're like, damn, this is sweet. They went for that? Cause you telling somebody, a woman, what she can and can't do with her body,
Mm-hmm.
what's next?
What's
That's
that?
the only question, what's next?
If you talk to
It's something else next.
if you talk to any of those foreigners from different countries that come here, they be like, "This the land of the free. It's so much opportunity here, but you're really not free because they trying to control everything you do." You know what I'm saying? But I guess in their countries it's worse than that. You feel me? But
What could be worse than what? If they must be fucked up over there. Then.
Yeah, a lot of these other countries, some of them are worse, but the only other thing I can think of is trying to get the population back increased. Because you think about all of the people that passed during the COVID. And so when you think about the shortages, so we got all these different shortages, you don't have the workers, you don't have the bodies. And America is only, I mean, well, it's limited now, but before COVID, there was only about 324 million people in America. America never, we didn't touch that billion, like with Japan or Africa. We didn't touch the billion.
Flirted in the threes. The point view was high threes.
Yeah.
376, 362, shit like that.
But we never really populated to a billion. And so so you say what's next? So that's my thinking behind it. One, the other thing too is you gotta think about now what happens to kids that are born because of either rape or incest or any of like that stuff really happened.
So now you gotta have a baby. I done got raped,
And
so
what-
I gotta have a baby.
Right, and what does that do to the psyche? We got to think, what did that do to the psyche of the mother that is continuously reminded every time she looks at the child and how that child got here? Do you tell that child that this is what happened? Because it happens, and a lot of people are able to do away with that or not have to experience because of that.
And you got stuff like incest too.
And incest is real.
That's amazing.
Incest is real.
That's why I say they need to get rid of all them justices up there on the Supreme Court. all
Hey,
of
who's
them,
gonna
like,
be voting, man?
all them some bitches, they're all like about 90 years old, man. That shit don't even make sense. You shouldn't even be that old up there. You shouldn't be past 60 trying to run this country, man, because the country getting younger and you're not relevant. You've been trained by people that was 90 years old.
Right.
They've been trained by people that like you sit up
Would have
until
been
you
over
die.
100.
You sit up until you die, or you just don't want to be there. And if you're there, you want to be there. So,
But you know they put the people in those positions that they want in those positions.
right, that's what I'm saying. So you trained by a certain type of
Yeah.
person with a certain mindset, and it's not favorable for us, like for the regular citizen, man. You don't have no understanding of the normal society.
Yeah.
If you go justice, man,
I mean, think about
they're
we.
all born in the 30s, 40s and stuff.
Think about we 40, and I can't really speak on stuff that 21, 22-year-olds what they're doing. Like, I don't understand it. So how can you run the free world? Because isn't the babies what you supposed to be uplifting?
I think as many people should get the opportunity to be up there. It should rotate. The same way the presidency, it should be every 4 years, new justices come in. And you can't be past 60, so you better get in by the time you're 54, 55, 56.
Should they lower the age limit? Because you got to be 45 to be president. Should they lower the age limit?
45, I think, is reasonable to be president.
I
Oh, you
just-
talking about for the justices?
Oh, I know you have to be a certain age.
I just don't want to be, I feel like you shouldn't be a certain age as being on the upside. Like, even with that, you shouldn't be no 70-year-old president. I mean, it's people in this country that's great thinkers, that's been through all the stuff they've been through, man. Got the credentials, that's not 70. There's somebody that can do better than Biden or Trump that's not 70. Like,
I mean,
you're
just
stagnating people when you do that, man. It's people, if you open it up and do it the right way, then you have that dude that's 20 years old that's aspiring to get in that position. But if you don't think he got a shot in hell, he probably ain't even gonna
Never gonna think about it.
Yeah, he ain't gonna think about it. But if I'm 19 and know, ooh, I could be a president, I could run the country at 30, and I'm gonna do this at third, and you genuine, you might work towards that hard and be the greatest leader the nation ever seen. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Trump already showed us, because like most presidents like they had like, in all the judicial people, they had like law degrees or degrees in political science or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Econ degrees. He showed you, so why is it the age limit? Like if I got the degree that you said about 27, 28, why can't I run?
Well, to back up a little bit on the Trump thing, man, Trump followed the Obama blueprint. So when Obama first got on to running, Obama went to all those small towns nobody was going to. So he go on, he making friends. That's how Obama got in. It wasn't a metropolis. It was, I'm gonna go to all these small little rural towns, build my name up, get my backing, support them, because they need rural living is some of the most easiest living in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Easy living, real
Mhm.
simple. Clear blue skies, some of the best air, oxygen you're gonna ever breathe.
It's
I can
not
tell air quality,
overpopulated.
it's not overpopulated, it's real slow, relaxed. I'm telling y'all, man, when I was out there in Oregon, man, I don't remember seeing an 80, 90-year-old man in a wheelchair rolling around. Okay? These people 80, 90 years old still walking around. Okay? So that's the other thing. The second thing too is when Trump got in, Trump tapped into the part of America that had been dormant since Dr. King. Okay? So once he got in, he got to speaking his rhetoric, getting people follow him, and then people made it okay to say that stuff out loud. That changed the world. And that might be what tapped into the Roe versus Wade too. Somebody trying to make a name for themselves. And these people will be remembered.
Who would y'all rather have as president, Trump or Obama? And seeing how a lot of our people, they want Trump back because he gave all that free money away, but like
You gotta tap in with Obama, man.
He just giving our money away. That was
Not giving money away, but we know what Obama's
Trump didn't give our money away.
that's what he's saying. Yeah, that's why I asked. A lot of people say that.
Obama made it safe as much as people don't want to give him credit for, he made it safe for black people to some degree to progress. And then he also made it okay to put a black family at the forefront. No matter how uncomfortable it might have been for them, but to see that, like to really tap into that, what that looked like, man, that's major. But we might not ever see that again.
Yeah.
But he did it for 8 years, so you gotta salute that. So I got one for y'all. Talk about current events. Kevin Samuels.
Oh, man.
So we talk about the Kevin Samuels, right? The high value man and getting married, et cetera, et cetera. I think about what Jay-Z got in common versus Benny Siegel, Petey Crack, et cetera. When you get into those rooms, who do they want to see? Do they want to do business with the playboy, or they want to do business with the family man? So the evolution of it is when you look at Jay-Z and look at where everybody else went, he went to that family route, him, Beyonce, their kids, so that looked real appealing to the American dream.
Right.
So how much is that tapped into the high value man versus the common man versus what I call the exceptional man? So what you think about the marriage piece versus how important marriage is and family is and being looked at like a father, like to see Jay-Z courtside with Blue Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good. I don't use the word.
Good example.
I don't want to use it. I'm saying good example because we only got that example from certain people.
Right, so you don't come up like
Certain
that. Yeah.
certain people's vision, and they put it on you like this. How you supposed in your life? Then you ain't this way. Then you're not. You know. So I don't really want to say that, but because you got billionaires that's divorced. You got billionaires some that ain't even married. You know what I'm saying? Like
I mean, Bezos got divorced.
yeah.
He could afford to get divorced too.
He can afford to give him $1 billion too.
That one married? Elon?
That probably was the biggest divorce I ever
He
seen.
didn't even married. You know what I'm saying? Like
I swear that was quick.
Trump done had several wives.
Yeah.
Like it ain't always that ain't always the case, but I understand. Like understand the look.
The normal look.
I understand the projection.
Yeah.
Did y'all read Will? He said Quincy Jones told him when he got divorced to his first wife, he was like, man, look, just give her half that money and just keep going. You're gonna get bored.
Will-
That's what Quincy Jones. I'm like, wow, that's crazy that he said that. But I guess if you think about it, that's the easiest way to go. Just give her some.
I think he gave what I needed to have, didn't
Then he just got remarried
he?
too.
He gave that woman half.
Oh, he left the white girl? Mike?
No, I thought he tapped
White
in
girl.
with the
You
You talking about Juanita Jordan, right?
Yeah.
She was white?
No,
No, but he got with a,
She like Hispanic. I thought she
well,
was.
okay, she ain't black.
But no, I'm looking at the value of the work ethic of being married or having a family. And you got quote unquote a partner that's on the same purpose, same mission, same vision. So it's not more so like, hey, I'm going to work, making all the money, and handing you my check, but you bring something to the table too.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that is that by design, or do that not matter today? Or are we still in that? Like, I gotta make all the money and give you
I mean,
the
the
check.
time we live in, the time we live in, I mean, that make more sense. It make more sense because of our minds, the way in the time that we live in. So it make more sense for both parties to be participating. You know what I'm saying? Contribute on equal or somewhat equal or whatever y'all discuss and come up with on that level. It make more sense than. But it's still nothing wrong with if you got a guy that is that's just holding it down, and you know what I'm saying. If he got that ability to do that, you know what I'm saying. I watched the chick, and I didn't know that she had got grilled by Kevin Samuels neither. The young chick, she do the she the entrepreneur. She got. I thought I had. Damn, I didn't write her stuff down. But it was this young chick, man, and she was. I was watching her on somebody's podcast, and this chick, she was 26, and she was papered up. She had a platform. She was teaching people how to get money through social media and stuff like that. And she had probably some cosmetic products. She had something. She said there ain't, a guy won't be, he asked her, the guy asked her, would you date a guy that make 100,000 a year? She said no. So she was like, man, I'll never date somebody that make less than, that don't make enough money, that make less than me, blah, blah. Then she said this though. So she said, she ain't worried because a dude will never find nobody like her.
So he'll never come up.
This woman, not, you not, I mean, just on how we condition and like, we see certain shit off the eye, and when we be like, damn, she bad, damn, she foreign, you know what I'm saying? You're not close to being none of that. And, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to sit on her or nothing, but I'm just being serious, like, what do you mean? So she tried to break categorize it to, I'm 26, see what she said, I'm under 30, I got multi-millions, she was trying to name all these categories, like, you ain't, if a guy, the type of guy you're looking for, don't even care about that. He don't care about none of that. If anything, if he got them stupid M's like that, he wants you to be a yes woman, like, wait, you know what I'm saying? Like, just convenient. He wants you to be something convenient. He don't need you running around this motherfucker like you, and it ain't sexist or nothing, but it's just how it be. Like, you ain't rare. You not rare, man. You not rare. Y'all, you see why dudes be getting married, they be going to them different races and shit.
Yeah.
And you talking about some, he ain't gonna find somebody like you. If that's the case, why are you single? If you so that raw and that rare, why is you single?
Her attitude proves it while she's single.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you single? Like, so when I saw that, and I'm going back to that, the other day, I'm scrolling through the YouTube, and the dude pulled that up, but he showed a clip of that interview with her and dude, and he showed, I guess shortly after that, she got into it with her and Kevin Samuel.
Right.
He read her, and I was gonna be on Kevin Samuel's ass if he wouldn't have passed, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, because I already know some of the shit I had for him. Nigga, that was gonna catapult us. I ain't even gonna fake it. That shit was gonna catapult us, man. All the reason that shit was gonna take us off. But, so I was on his ass about a lot of shit, but he do be having a lot of shit be on point with though at the same time, man. You know what I'm saying? Be on point with a lot of shit. I just don't like the result, the end game of what he got going on, mostly, man, mainly. You know what I'm saying? I feel like at these times we shouldn't just keep antagonizing our women.
That's the only like some stuff I agree with, but that was like the biggest thing I hated because it be women coming on there confident, and they confidence be so shocked when they done with him.
What's the solution?
They be looking down like shit, looking all sad. I'm like, damn, why would you go in there and let them break you down like that?
But they do.
Like, that's just
They
crazy,
do.
man.
He's so
Talking to him
articulate, so he do break them down, break some of them down and stuff. But some things that he do it'd be like, okay, man, that was uncalled for, kid.
Yeah.
Come on, kid.
Hey, I'm gonna give y'all one though. Rob, do you know I'm going to Toledo? Remember the one that we ain't gonna say his name, but he played basketball for the school. Remember what?
Say his name, man. We ain't doing that on this show. I don't like that on them shows, man.
No, I'm saying. Remember when the dude Bird he had put on Instagram, on Facebook, went on Instagram, why he liked to date women that of a different race. One, he came from the city of Orange. Anybody from Cleveland know the city of Orange? And he was like, I don't like women that come with they hair wrapped up at night. and you went to college, you know it's a such thing as a black student union. Man, they tore his ass alive. Pause.
No, that nigga funny. I respect it, though. Hey, he said.
He got a
He
preference.
said, man, hey, man,
That's
unwrap that shit.
You can't hate him.
He literally put it on Facebook.
Man got a preference. Women got a preference.
I mean, look, I was dating a chick, I ain't gonna say her name. In high school, and they all kept making fun of her hair because she always wore the hair, the bang like hang over her head and shit. And they called it the door. So I even be sorry though, because I'd never seen
I
the
think
chick.
I know the chick.
Horrible. I don't give a hey, look, man, I used to be mad, man. I'd be like, man, why this bitch won't show her hair, man? Come on, man. We up this bug, man, around all day like this. I can't do this no more. It's over with, man. I mean, great personality, great. Man. Yeah, he ain't want, man. Let me see your hair. We still here.
But see, dude proved his point though. He said I grew up around all white people. That's all I know.
But you can't be mad at a man for preference,
No, you
man.
can't.
Like
Nah.
you gotta have expectations,
Listen,
man.
My take on that anyway, man. I'm what some people would call radical. I'm just realistic, man, through observation. And see, from my observation, my take on that anyways, we supposed to impregnate all the women anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Every race, all the black men supposed to impregnate every race and bring them motherfuckers back to black. You feel me? The creator,
Full circle.
yeah, they said it started off as black people, right? And so what goes around comes around, or however it goes, comes around, goes around, whatever. God gave us the ability to bring that shit back around. It's happening slowly but surely anyways. More interracial couples now than it was in 1950.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And not just black people fucking white folks, Asian and white, Mexican, or whatever.
Everybody tapped in.
Everybody tapped in. So it's coming. It's you can't stop it. But we was given the dominant gene. So my take on that is you can't knock him for that because I feel like that's what we supposed to be doing anyway.
Yeah,
We ain't wrong if we ain't pursuing it, but I'm just saying like we was given that ability though by the
You got
creator.
free will. Like, we had this conversation last Saturday, me and my wife, and we had one of her friend couples come on. And we was talking, we preach equality, but the dude that came over, he was mad at his son that dated a white girl. But you preach for equal rights, equal opportunity, but you mad that your son dated a white girl. He's pissed.
There he is. He wasn't on it. He wasn't on it. He said, no, I was saying equal for us. That's all he talking about, man. It is what it is, man. I ain't tripping, man. I think we can go ahead for real.
Yeah, I want to.
Wrap this one up. Anybody got something else to say?
Yeah, I just want to thank you for coming, man. I appreciate you, man.
Let's get our top fives out.
Oh yeah. We like to do this, man. We like to do this. We like to ask people.
No, we was gonna say we can have a conversation with somebody else. That's the one
Yeah.
we wanted to add.
Oh, the billionaire one.
Oh, yeah, that one too.
No. One we like to is your top 5 people that you would like to speak to, dead or alive.
I like to sit down
Have
and
a conversation.
have a conversation. So.
And then you got to be in no particular order, just 5 people, dead or alive, that you.
Man, the first person, man, gotta be Dr. King,
That's
man.
what I said.
Okay.
I gotta sit down with Dr. King because Dr. King come from Atlanta to from Morehouse to Crozer Seminary School, which is all white. So he go in that. I think that was the impetus behind that Birmingham letter from where he was in jail. That's who he was talking to. So I want to talk to him about that, and then a lot of people don't know, man. And we don't talk. I didn't know this until I got older and doing research. Y'all know Dr. King got his PhD at 26.
Yeah.
So he was a young dude, young black man with a PhD. He come back and then he's 26, 27, but while he's doing that Montgomery bus boycott and all that stuff. So I just want to go through and just learn from him, like what happened, how did you deal with it, stuff that people can't write, that you keep close. I want to talk to him about that. Second person is man, Shirley Chisholm, man. Man, I love me some Shirley. Man, I love me some Shirley, man. Shirley was cold. Shirley, first black woman to run for president. She come from education, get on the national board, serve on the agricultural committee. So she was one of the first black people to really tap in with the farmers and learn how their food works. So I want to get some behind the scenes with her. Third person, man, is T.I. Like, man, I ride with T.I., man. Hey,
He got T.I. on his list.
T.I., man,
I
look.
fucks with them.
Man.
Like,
T.I., man, T.I. was one of the first people, so I don't know if y'all know this, but when I was in high school, I started calling myself King. So I ain't really like being called Ralph because that was my father's name. I won't talk to my father. But T.I. was the first person from the hood, from the trap, that I heard that wasn't super woke, that wasn't with all of the hoopla, that called himself King. And so, man, his transition from King to where he at now, man, I want to sit down with T.I.
that's 3.
Yeah, that's 3. Fourth person, gotta be Barack. Gotta sit down with Barack because him and Michelle backstory is wild, cause the whole conversation of being married and telling your wife, hey, I'm about to run for president.
Can't believe that shit.
Like, Barack was old man.
Really, you gotta have them cojones, they got straight to gravel.
That nigga believed when his parents told him, you could be anything you want to be. That nigga believed that.
We your fifth one.
And then my fifth one, man, they don't lie, man. Gotta be my grandmother, man. Gotta be
That's-
Betty Joyce, man. I gotta rap on Betty Joyce, man. Betty Joyce, man, from the projects, come from North Carolina, Cleveland. Used to walk around with a strap in the bosom.
Old school now.
Betty Joyce, hey, man, that's my girl, man. This is my Betty Joyce, so y'all gotta tap in with her.
That's those some good ones right there, man.
So,
I know you had yours.
yeah,
What
I
you
said,
gotta
I
say,
said,
man?
Dr. Martin Luther King, I gotta holler at him. I gotta. Like my thing is like when I'm doing my research. No, I do. I gotta see because like I'm doing my research. It's like I'm stuck between like him knowing what he was doing when they did the whole civil rights bill, or him getting tricked. You know, I want to know like, did you really know, or you know what I'm saying? Did they trick you, or you was part of the plan? Because he when he realized, he's like, I led my people to a burning house, but it was kind of too late. So that's why I definitely want to have a conversation with him. I say Erykah Badu, there's something about her energy, man. That's all
You know every brother was crazy up
There's
there.
something about her energy, man. I don't know what it is. I gotta holler. I gotta see what that energy is about. I said Marcus Garvey because you know obviously what he did was Marcus Garvey, Ali. Who was the other one? I know Dr. King, Marcus Garvey, Ali, Erykah Badu, or somebody else. Help me out, yo.
You ain't say Malcolm?
Oh yeah, no, I ain't say Malcolm.
Did I say Malcolm?
He said Malcolm. I ain't say Malcolm. Malcolm got a little word,
You
man.
ain't say Malcolm. I wrote 4 of yours down. I only wrote 3 of mine.
I gotta switch one
I
out.
forgot his, so I ain't writing his down.
Well, I throw Malcolm in there again, because I definitely want to have a conversation with him.
And then you said, you remember yours?
I gotta switch one out.
What?
I did
You
say.
had Biggie, John Singleton, Obama, T.I.
No, I said Tupac. I said Pac.
Oh, Pop. Yeah,
I said Pac.
that's what you
Yeah,
said.
Pac.
I did have Biggie, because like I said, I wanted to know who he was talking about on the story. I got a story to tell.
Fuck that, man. That's gotta be you X now.
But no, I switch him out with Huey. I really want to know.
So who's the 5?
I'm going with my first one is we all say Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
I said Marcus Garvey as well.
Yeah.
I did say T.I. because you know what I'm saying. For a person who
You said Obama too, but
Yeah.
I did say Obama.
you got mortified. You gotta tighten this up.
No, I went for it. I said we switch it. We kick Biggie off.
So you got John Singleton.
Yeah,
See, I'm saying you forgot about John Singleton.
we got to kick him off too. He gotta get kicked off. But no,
Okay, that's cool.
I thought about this while I was asleep last night. About Huey, like what made a brother from the hood just say, we ain't taking this shit no more. We ain't taking police brutality. We taking our hood back. We gonna educate our own children. We ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? We not gonna put them in y'all hands. For y'all to beat them, to brainwash them. We like to literally have that much power in their own neighborhood that you could stir up the head of the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover. You know what I'm saying? You a dude from Oakland, and you got people in Washington, D.C. on your helmet.
No, I mean, but he already vowed. He vowed on record, Hoover. But what y'all do with Garvey? He said, man, we ain't not about to let no black person gain that much momentum again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they let Martin and Malcolm go far enough. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if it's true. They said he was dressing in drag, J. Edgar Hoover.
Oh yeah, he was definitely.
Yeah, I don't know.
He definitely was the
mob.
He definitely was a fruity
I don't know.
That's why he ain't messing with him. It was a dude on, he was on Blast.
No, the dude,
Francis.
They
He said that's why he never really messed with the mob.
They had
like some
they had info
like
on
that,
him.
but I don't know if that's just.
But I'm saying with Huey though, like with Huey Newton and them, like and those guys, I just as far as what they stood for, you know what I'm saying?
Them some good ones though. Like I'm glad that I got y'all too because I ain't got it. Once y'all get the insight from them, I can just come to y'all. Y'all can bust down the information to me, and I'm just pick different. I'm going with more modern people. Derrick Grace the second. That's my guy, man. His mentality, man. He like the rawest black person in the country, man. There's a couple of them, they like neck and neck. But I love what Derrick Grace got going on down there, man, in Florida, man, Tampa. Then you got the guy Yaki. Yaki, he teaching holistic health, that tip. You know what I'm saying? Yaki Awaken, that's what he go about on social media, Yaki Awaken. So I love what he got going on. He like the modern, he the newer Dr. Sebi. And maybe like 2.0 or something, times 10. Because he come on to Dr. Sebi and he preached Dr. Sebi, but he also point out things where he felt that the Dr. Sebi wasn't accurate on. Then he got the Dr. Sabians, you know what I'm saying, the fans that came at him and shit. And he had to,
He defended it.
he had to go back and let him know why he explained why I said that I'm not. I love Dr. Sebi, I respect him. I wouldn't even be doing what I'm doing. I'd probably be here if it weren't for him, because I learned how to heal myself from him. But, he did enough research to say, this might not be so true, this and third, blah, blah. But he's great. He's great. My dude, man, talking about earlier, Zuckerberg, man.
Zuckerberg, yeah.
You gotta holler at Mark.
Him. I gotta holler at him, man. I gotta holler at him. Because it's like he run the world for real.
Yeah, that's social
He run the world, man. He controlling the narrative for the world, man, with that social media platform, man. And that's amazing, man. That's amazing. That's truly amazing. Jesus, if this guy, I need to holler at Jesus, man.
Jesus.
Y'all know it's Jesus, man. I need to holler at Jesus, man. I need to figure out, man, like, your pops why your pops let us, our people get flipped around like this, though, bro? Like, where the car at?
What's going on?
What's up?
He said, what a car,
They talking about karma for everything else, but where the karma for these folks and then shack up these people and split them apart on horses? Where the karma for them? What's up, man? You ain't possible to play around. Y'all tricking us? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I need to holler at Jesus, though.
He said, your pops.
Yeah,
That's
man.
a part.
It's real talk, though. I know people don't have what to say. But Gaddafi, I need to holler at him, man. I need to holler at him so bad. And man, I want to just know, like, when he was supposed to be putting together the African Union back then, where they was going to, unite all the nations in Africa and become one with the currency, this, that, and third. And I just really wish I could just get insight on everything, his whole plan, his whole idea, how was he going to structure it out, how was he going to get it to go, like, what did he see? You know what I'm saying? Because it didn't get to happen, obviously. He's not here, and several others not here that was alongside with him. And now look at Uganda. All that goddamn gold they done found, they claim it's all the richest, been the richest, that whole continent, been the richest continent forever. It's always gonna be that way.
Always.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like Derrick Grace, Yaki, Zuckerberg, Jesus, and Gaddafi, man. Them are my people I want to talk to. For sure.
But we gonna thank Dr. Murphy for being here.
We're gonna thank Dr. for
Dr. Murphy, we gonna put some respect on his name. And just let the people know where they can get your work at, where they can go buy your book. I hate schools until I figured it out. I mean, all of your projects.
Man, so appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to the Big Chop, man. So I hated school till I figured it out. All of these books are on Amazon. You can hit me up on IG at dr_rm2. The other book I have right here on the end is from my man David Gully, one of my fraternity brothers. I'm also tapped in helping everyday people write their story. So if you got a story you want to write, a book you want to publish, tap in with me. We figure out how to get it done for a small fee.
Yeah, I definitely want to tap in with you on that.
Ebook. So I Hate School, so I figured out is an ebook that's available on Amazon as well. I haven't really pushed the ebooks as much because the hard copy is something I want to get people's hand, especially for people who aren't readers. That say I don't write long books. I want to write books that people can finish. You can read. You can come back to it. It sits on you. And I'm not reading 500-page books. I'm not gonna have enough time to do it. But 100, 125, 150 pages, you probably knock it out in a day or 2 days and then go back to it for life. So man, I appreciate y'all.
And I can say, once you pick it up, it's gonna be hard to put it down, boy. It's good. It's a good book, man.
Yeah, I gotta get my hands on them
And
books.
this upcoming school year, my man, he breaking the news here first, man. What going back to his community, man.
Man, shout out to EC, man. We talked about it at the beginning, we end with it. So I've traveled across the country, been at the dean of students at the college, been a full-time professor, tapped in with the Cleveland Metropolitan School District as an admin. But this upcoming school year, I will be returning back to East Cleveland as an assistant principal at Shaw High School. Big deal, man. The biggest thing a man can do is give back to his community. And what better way than to teach our young men, young women how to progress and make it out of there and then come back and support it later.
We appreciate that, man.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Especially to see you come back, man, and it make it feel even better that we know you. Somebody that close, man. So, yeah.
I wouldn't feel bad about sending my kid there. No.
Oh, no, hey, we're going to take care of them, man. We're going to take care of them. You can trust your kids with me.
Know you got some programs, about to implement some programs up in there. Know you about to get some shit going.
Yeah, we got programs. We're going to connect them with people. And that public education can work, does work, will work. And we're going to make education look good again.
It definitely is,
He
man.
Testament.
Hey.
East Cleveland. You ain't got that jump shot. You might not even join it.
It's a good thing, man. It's a good thing you did it with your Warren Dunn looking at Hey, y'all, my ass up forward, nigga.
Hey, man.